Do you know what's freaking awesome? To have your own claw machine. And I found the best one out there. Owning a claw machine is absolutely a lot of fun. However, there are a couple of things that you need to know about, and you can also do a lot of adjusting, because when it comes to a claw machine, you can actually adjust them to a certain point. They're very difficult to actually grab your prizes. So today we're going to be chit-chatting about the Lucky Claw. And the Lucky Claw is actually just a name, because you can buy these things under your own personal name if you want to. This is actually one of the best claw machines that I actually owned throughout many years, owning all kinds of arcade machines. The Lucky Claw looks absolutely beautiful. When you're going to be looking at the way how they made this with this metal in combination with a lighter marquee, this is absolutely very cool. And if you're going to be ordering a couple of them, you can make your own name. And I thought Lucky Claw sounds absolutely amazing. Side windows are absolutely must have for a claw machine. But when it comes to this particular model, having these, let's say, plastics, translucent pieces in here, makes this such an overall cool, let's say, device to look at when you want to display your prizes. However, where this thing is actually named Lucky Claw, they're still using the original stickers Happy Moment, but I think it's absolutely a very cool addition. Also, I think it's very difficult to actually showcase here on the camera, but they are like these metallic stickers. So if you're going to be looking at the, let's say, claw machine, there's a lot of differences when it comes to also the display, the software and everything else. But what makes this thing the best one actually yet? So first of all, the joystick quality is absolutely amazing. It's more like a very nice wiggle stick. I don't even see them in, let's say, Pandora's boxes, and we're just having a massive, beautiful RGB colored button. But if you have seen a lot of different candy coin machines, I think one of the biggest positive sides is because the way how this thing is shaped. The square shape cabinet, I think, is one of the convenient things, where other ones were like a little bit slimmed, giving me like less option to actually put prizes in. Bar tops are always a little bit more limited than the massive machines, but this thing has some really cool features to it. But let's open it up and I will show you what I actually mean. So with the claw itself, we do have all kinds of different variations, with having ones like bigger ones, even with, let's say, the same kind of mechanics on top. But I think this is the right overall fit, because this thing can grab a lot of plushes. But of course, if you have like a bigger claw, you can get bigger plushes. But the whole where this thing is actually like one of the better improvements over the older machines. Now we can have bigger plushes that we can also grab, but also can actually fit in here. A great example is this massive, let's say, turtle plush I've picked up from the action stores. So these things are pretty cool. However, they're like actually like the right, let's say, size, because this is the maximum you can actually grab, and this is more like a hit and miss situation, but they fit perfectly. That this particular plush didn't fit in, let's say, my older machines, but also the prize out. Here I've noticed like this thing is gigantic, so you can get your prize out fairly easy. And also with some other machine, these things were way too small, and these simple tiny plushes couldn't get out. And of course we do have the display for the prizes, where it's actually in front of the, let's say, the mirror. I think this is such an overall cool thing, because it gives me a little bit more theme and overall the decoration possibilities. This is of course complete overkill, but giving you an idea. So having all of these plushes, of course we can get rid of a couple of them. And actually what you can just do is just hustle them a little bit over here. And this way it looks really cozy, and this is absolutely awesome, having all of the plushes displayed and the prizes you can actually put in the machine. But let's plug in the cable and let's turn the machine on. So when the machine is turned on, after transport, it will automatically position the claw itself back to its original state. I need to switch it on. But before we're going to be filling up the Lucky Claw machine, we're going to be talking about, let's say, the software and what can you do with it, because this particular model is quite extended. So this is actually the container that also has all of the coins that you're going to be putting in. So the coin mechanism is an electronic one, and what you can do is fairly easy, like adjust it with the certain coin or certain amount of money you want to use. So this is actually quite sensitive, and I mean, for example, if you're going to be having different kind of, let's say, coins, they're slightly different from each other, it will give you problems. So you need to have 100% the same kind of high quality coins, or just use money, for example. And when this thing has been put in there, then it's automatically configured. And we're going to be putting back the mechanism itself. So the coin mechanism is something you can just find on AliExpress. So if you're going to be finding or needing a replacement, they're like inexpensive when it comes to that. So what you can see on the display, it actually shows how many plays and how long somebody can actually just use the machine for actually automatically dropping down the claw itself. But if you want to adjust stuff, you can actually also do that, and you're going to be finding, oh man, you're finding the button behind this. That's the back we're finding a button, and if you're going to be touching that button, we're going to be actually getting into the menu over there. And yep, this is going to be giving you all of the information, like over total amount of coins that have been put in the machine, and a lot, the total awards that have been given, and many other cool features. So the unfortunate part is that this menu is a little bit messy. Normally you're having different kind of menus and sub-menus and everything, but everything is now put in a long, massive list with 32 different kind of options, or at least like different kind of modes. So we're going to be finding what I mentioned before, the total coins, the awards, the coin bureau is actually like showcasing like how many coins you're going to be putting inside of the machine for getting one single play. The playtime, like I mentioned before, has been set to 20 seconds. And also the winning way probabilities, and you can actually mess with this, so how many times it's going to be actually grabbing the toy and giving it out. And then of course we're having all kinds of stuff like air grip. The air grip is actually, if you're going to be pressing it in midair, it will automatically grab. You can just shut it on and off. And shaking alarm, and this is the interesting part. So this is actually the strong, how much voltage is going to be putting on the claw. You can adjust it depending on what kind of toys you're going to be using, or like plushes. So, and of course the weak force and having the week after. So you can see that we can do all the kinds of voltage adjustments. It's absolutely nuts if you think about it. So this, for example, having the award power, strong power has been set to the same amount, but even you can adjust that. So one's going to be having the award power. So actually you can mess around with the three kind of different, actually like voltages, and then even have the award power differently. So this is a very extended menu. You can even showcase how long the weak, but also how long the strong power will be and everything. And there's absolutely not how much craziness you can do. So money saves actually if you're going to be turning the machine on and off. You can set that it's going to be remembering how many credits were on there. And in here we're going to be having the option for idle music. I did shut it off because this machine does utilizes an SD card where you can put in your own music and everything else. So that's kind of cool. You can put your own voice in it when you're going to be actually using the joystick and all kinds of cool things. And after that we can actually go to save exit. What is kind of funny, like menu directory, if you're going to be putting this on 0, you're going to be inverting it. It's like really weird, and they're going to be using pressing up is going to be down, but nevertheless it's kind of interesting but weird that they added that. So save and exit, and that's it. The only thing you did notice, like when you're turning it on, that showcase this Wi-Fi thing, but I couldn't find any information about the Android Apple Wi-Fi app for actually communicating wirelessly with the Lucky Claw. If it's like enabled in this, I don't know. I should actually like deep dive into it, but for now we're going to be using it offline. But let's open up the back, because here we're going to be finding all the other components. I would say, like, if you're going to be opening it up, you can actually like close it over here and just turn it off, because you're going to be having some voltages going on. So this is actually like the power supply. It's like another, let's say, part you can actually, if you're going to be needing to replace, it's like inexpensive. You can buy them for not a lot of money on AliExpress. But actually what it showcases is having 5, 12 and 24 voltage. So that makes this thing quite unique. So over here having the input for just the power of the cable over there, and over here we're going to be finding the main board. So what is cool that we do have an SD card, so we can put on files, having different kind of personal music, you name it. If you're going to be removing it, we're going to be having the original soundtracks, like the bleepy and the annoying sounds that you normally have these arcade machines. And of course here having all of the cables and the region on and off switch over there, so we can even shut it down if you're going to be opening it at the front. But when it comes to, let's say, the configuration, I gave like this zoomer sound. I thought this was pretty cool. It can be really annoying if you hear this all day. But if you're going to be putting in the coin, we have like the sound over there. And one of the things you can also adjust is the speed of the claw. I've been putting it on 1 because it's like really great. You can see like how fast it actually like responds. If you're going to be pressing the button once, twice, getting the air grab, and that's actually how it works. But so when it comes to, let's say, the coin, so what's interesting, we have like different kind of versions over here, like different kind of brands, even without any brand, but that seems to work fine. But if you're going to be putting in a bigger one, it's not going to be doing anything at all. So that seems to be working fine. I did buy these very quite expensive overall, let's say, Pashield coins. But again, like I mentioned before, if you have like a certain coin you want to use, you can actually use it, but you need to get yourself like the same overall quality. But how about the prices? Yeah, that's what I mean. So with the prices you can actually do all kinds of cool stuff. So we have like Pokemon cards, but it will actually grab the Pokemon booster packs, but you need to put it in a certain angle, otherwise it's very difficult to actually reach in. But this is one of the things that can actually be grabbed fairly easy. We have also these tiny balls that are like quite nice, and I must say that there are all kinds of different things you can actually do, and like having these tiny game consoles. But yeah, this particular plush is quite difficult. If you want candy, that is another cool thing, but the only thing I did notice, like these plastic bags, you need to make like a round shape of it. But let's do some decoration, because this is going to be pretty cool. One of the favorite parts about having a claw machine. So the machine has been filled up and have just putting all kinds of different items inside of the machine. So we do a little bit of limitation over here, particularly when it comes to the top and the middle row. But beside that, everything seems to be fitting perfectly. So when it comes for playing, it's very easy. So you can actually see that for particularly when you're going to be having certain items like this smartwatch, you can just fairly easy grab that. And also the sound effect in the native language Dutch has been adjusted. So you can do all kinds of sound effects. So when you're going to be having an Hulk. And it grabs it with ease. But if you're going to be having a device like that over there, so this is going to be a little bit more difficult. As you can see over there. Also with the tiny Pokemon balls, like the Pokemon balls are a little bit too tiny. They can grab them, but they're very difficult. So now it's actually a matter of like what kind of item do you want, but also which one are actually able to grab. For example, the cube over here, that is super easy. You need to adjust, of course, the claw itself. Let's adjust it. Let's see if I grabbed it. So the claw itself has been actually like put in a certain position that it's always grabbing the best force. I think it's, did I recall it correctly, like 37.5 voltages. But again, like all the other things are quite challenging. So for example, over here we're having this ball over there. Oh, completely misgrabbed with that. But this is going to be so much more difficult. Also when it comes to the outer part of the claw machine, you can actually see there is a little bit of room between. So when you're going to be putting items all at the border over there, we're going to be having some limitations. And that has to do with the simple fact of the mechanism over there. I don't know if there are claw machines out there that don't have this, but so far I have checked, everything has the same situation. But so there you have it, the Lucky Claw Machine. I think it's such an overall fun experience, but also in showcase is that these things can be adjusted. I just love these Lucky Claw letters, and I think what I love most about this device is that the hole is so much bigger, so we have better prizes. The claw is kind of the same like the previous models, but when you're going to be having the prizes, if you're going to be adjusting them, so you need to actually dig through the pile of stuff to get yourself the prizes. Of course, at the borders we can, but for example, these things, you cannot grab them at all. But I think that's one of the limitations. I love the beautiful overall, let's say, cool decoration you can do. I think this is one of the coolest things. There is still a mirror behind it. I think they can break depending, like if they're like real glass, they can break in transport. So there's something you need to take consideration. But some of them do have like acrylic. But again, you're actually not going to be needing it if you're going to be having decoration. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think of Lucky Claw Machines or Claw Machines itself. And it would be great to see you in the next video.